So there are 4 icons on the car selection screen that show how many GMO vehicles you have destroyed. The red X is for 1, the blue car is for 10, the yellow car is for 100, and the big white car is for 1000. So on this one, on the tank, I've hit 1111 vehicles. As for what happens when you destroy 9999, I couldn't tell you because I've never got that far. Maybe we'll find out, I don't know, next year. For those of us that only ever played the PAL version of Runabout 3, there was one vehicle that always seemed out of place, that being the ice cream truck. The vehicle in the game doesn't resemble an ice cream truck in any way. Instead, it's just an identical copy of the red light car. It shows up only once in the game, past the goal area on Mood, surrounded by ice cream signs, and that is the only way you would know that this was an ice cream truck. However, if you play the Japanese version, you can see that there was always a model for the ice cream truck. It was just somehow lost in translation between the two versions. This is one of the most significant differences between the PAL and NTSC copies of the game. If for whatever reason you're messing around in this area on Crash on the PAL version of the game, you may end up crashing into seemingly nothing at all, or at the very least an invisible object. Though there is no hint as to why this is the case on the European version, this apparition can be easily explained by playing the Japanese version of the game, where we can see the original layout of this section, which includes a walkway, the now visible pillar in question, and presumably the World Trade Center to the left, where we had only shrubbery on the European version. Now this was removed for unknown reasons, but we can probably guess why. On the mission Fire, there are a number of police boxes scattered around the map, but if you hit a select few of them, you'll notice that they actually show up as post boxes, even spilling letters and envelopes as if it were such a thing. It's not the case for every single police box on the map, more like half or 60%, but it's clear that they selected the wrong properties for these specific objects. I don't know whether they count towards the post box item on the object list. That's something I've never tested, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. Here's what a normal post box looks like, just for reference. Runabout 3 is a Japanese game, so as is expected, there are many odd mistranslations, such as the classic "Are you okay?" on Shadow. However, this next one has to take the cake. On Mood Spec R, the objective is to reach the goal without having any damage to your girlfriend's heart, which is indicated on the bottom left of the heads-up display. If, for whatever reason, you enter the goal area while her heart's damaged, you get the amusingly incorrect message reading, "Request not cleared, her heart's perfect." And though this is silly enough, doing the same on the Japanese version gives you something even better. The rare tag on the object list is used seemingly arbitrarily. One of the best examples of this is the cardboard house, which as you can see here is listed as common, yet it only appears once in the entire game on any map, right here at the end of Takeaway. Now this has always seemed kind of mysterious to me, especially with the inclusion of a question mark in the Japanese description. However, a quick translate shows that this literally just says cardboard house, so it doesn't really tell us anything. It's not the only example. For instance, this gate appears only once on Gunpowder, the tank lorry appears only once on Breakthrough, the trailer appears only once on Mood, and this crane is listed as common despite yet again only appearing once, and literally appearing right next to an object of equal size that is listed as rare. Now, there are plenty more examples of this, but I won't go into all of them because there's not really any need. I think you get the picture. Here's some more evidence of the rare tag being completely arbitrary. Take a look at these two objects, both of them dog plants, with the stock one being labelled as common and the illuminated one being labelled as rare. Now we can find the stock dog plant at the end of takeaway right here. However, this is once again the only instance of this object in the entire game. As for the illuminated dog plant, it shows up right at the beginning of Mood, in the same place as we find the stock one, but it also appears in Steelback in the same place. All of this meaning that the rare dog plant is actually less rare than the common dog plant. If I can call anything in this video famous, it's this one. At the bottom of Central Park there's an incomplete bridge with a gem alien ominously floating in the air. If you wait long enough, you get this Easter egg. I'm going to show you two trash cans. Here's the first one worth $860, and here's the second one worth $1,700. However, if you hit any of the latter trash cans, you'll see that they all show up as being worth $860, which is the same as the former. Clearly, the value of trash can 8 was butterfingered here. On the mission Crash, if you decide to ignore the objective and drive all the way to the end of the map, you'll see that the final goal area is still active. However, when you drive over it, you'll see that the message "No item" appears, stopping the mission from ending prematurely and granting you access to an area of the map you would never normally go, the other side of Brooklyn Bridge. Now, this doesn't appear anywhere else on any other map, and there is absolutely nothing on the other side of the bridge at all. But I would wager that this is probably by far the least driven area of the game. You can only get to it if you intentionally don't do the objective. You can't reach this area in free run because the goal area actually works. And this part of the map is somewhere I personally had never been until I actually tried this experiment. The missions Fire and Breakthrough are each home to a pair of vehicles called the Bakery Van and the Police Van. However, when we destroy either of these vans, we can see that the pop-up at the top has their names down as Bakery Ban and Police Ban respectively. Now this happens on both missions every single time, and the vans are spelled correctly on the object list, so it's probably just a pair of quirky typos and nothing else. The glass that I'm showing you now is the glass that surrounds the post office, valued at $1150 on the object list here. If you smash the glass on gunpowder, everything matches up, but if you smash the glass on the mission Fire, we find that it's apparently valued at $800, two values for the same item. Whether this $800 glass counts towards the object list, I don't know, but if I had to guess, I'd say they gave this specific glass panel the properties of a glass case by accident. At the end of the mission Crash, just past the graveyard, there is a red light car stuck in the wall. Now this is a consistent spawn and it appears on both versions of the game. Okay, this is a really quick one. On Gunpowder, if you go into the basketball arena, you will, perhaps unsurprisingly, be driving into a live basketball game, complete with two teams, many players, and a sign that reads Madison Square Garden, which basically speaks for itself. This specific glass panel in the museum has a very finicky hitbox. It seems completely random as to when it finally gives. Sometimes it's straight away, other times it takes as long as it's taken in this attempt here. And this doesn't happen with any of the other glass panels in the museum. Okay, so this is a very specific one, but if you followed my original playthrough of the game, it'll make sense. If you use the F1 car and try to destroy the infamous Note PC, you're in for a nasty surprise because it's not tall enough to reach. I think this is probably the case for the doll as well, but with the F1 car you don't even have the projectiles to fall back on. Therefore, it's reasonable to assume that if you tried to do all of your object hunting in the F1 car, you might never find this PC. Alright, so this one is completely theoretical. At the beginning of the mission Mood, if you drive straight and turn right at the end, you'll come across the black mystery sedan surrounded by what appears to be a number of secret agents, which adds to the enigma. This seems like it'd be an obvious choice for a unique object appearing only once in the game, but for some reason the sedan also appears in the next mission, Cabby, under much less mysterious circumstances. It's just parked at the side of the road with absolutely no fanfare. Now, the nonchalance of this second placement has me thinking that it was instead supposed to be a normal sedan here, though I obviously have no proof. Alright, this one's more open-ended. Throughout this game, there are a lot of these seemingly pointless areas that don't benefit you in any way or give you any reason to visit them. I'll give a couple of examples. So this is the first one. It's on Crash. These roads, they don't give you any sort of shortcut. In fact, it's the long way around. There are no unique items on these roads, and we've seen these exact roads in Rescue, which is only one mission before, except this one, I think. I'm not sure this actually appears anywhere else. Maybe it does on Steelback, but I mean, it really, there's no reason to go this way at all. This next one has always been really strange to me. So, this is on Crash again. There's this weird looking building off to the side, but there's literally nothing in this area. There's no shortcut, there's no objects at all, even. So even if you're going to be going for a high damage score, you're not going to get any help here. And it's just nearly nondescript courtyards and roads in this building. Maybe this thing is famous in New York City, but I don't know what it is, and it's quite literally pointless. There are plenty of these areas, so maybe at some point I'll make a longer video of them.